Yeah, baby.
Hey.
Yeah. Boy, howdy.
Boy, how you been?
I've been doing good, man. I'm the last couple days I've decided I'm a painter.
Really, like an artist?
Yeah,
An
man.
artiste?
I'm trying all kinds of the arts, man. You
And
know?
what kind of style? What are you painting?
Well, that's a great
Description
question.
description is an art killer.
Yeah, landscapes.
That's fun.
Landscapes.
So you're
Yeah.
yeah, I remember doing that kind of stuff, like you make a little point and then you make some straight lines from it and you can make your whole line of distance there and everything.
Well, that's something I've never figured out.
So is it
I'm
like
pretty good at clouds.
so you're kind of like going Bob Ross? Are you
uh,
making trees and stuff?
I got a foreground kind of. Here's how this started, man. I'm sitting in this. I'm used to having this farm and this, beautiful land all around. Or living in the country in the mountains, and I moved into downtown Boulder, and all I've got is this courtyard now, and man, it ain't what I'm used to,
Yeah.
So I was sitting out there the other day, just thinking, man, how nice it would be to have a nice view, and some nice perspective sitting out there in my place. I got to get stoned outside in the afternoon sun, and I decided, well, fuck it. If I don't have one, I'm gonna have to paint one.
Yeah, man.
So here's the here's what I started this mural outside.
Oh wow.
um, and I'm trying to kind of do the underpainting,
Uh-huh.
and I also started this one on the inside, um, on a canvas.
Oh,
So I ate
nice.
mushrooms the other day and started painting, and yeah, I don't
That's
have any
amazing.
techniques. I have no,
Well, you're
I
just, you know, imagining something in your head and trying to get it out, improvising
yeah.
kind of.
So
It's
I've got a ton of different techniques, uh, all coming together in one thing. It should be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, well
Yeah.
that's fun, man. I'm sure that is like
I've
really
always had styles running together, though.
yeah. Well, I can see that.
Sorry to get so far down that squirrel path there,
Oh,
but
that's great,
that's
man.
what
And
I've been doing.
I have an iPad that has like this Procreate app on it, and I can draw on there with a pencil and use all sorts of different
Oh,
paintbrushes and stuff. That's actually how I put together my set lists every night because you can, erase them and move stuff around. It's really,
uh-huh.
really helpful. Um, but
Oh,
I for a while there when I was like dealing with a lot of anxiety, I found that if I was feeling really intense, like I was gonna have a panic attack or something, I would just start tracing lines and like drawing stuff on the iPad, and it really like helps to like,
nice.
if would take my focus right off all of the, whatever the hell I was afraid of. I don't even know what,
Wow.
but like
Yeah.
even I remember one time that happened to me like in an airport. I'm in a crowded place and I think I hit my weed pen in the bathroom or something and I got a little too stoned and when I came out I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh fuck, now I'm all these people are around me and I'm too high and this is weird and I got to start drawing right now, man."
Wow.
Yeah, but it really
Interesting.
helps, man. It's you know, kind of like
You know,
playing guitar too does the same thing for me. It just takes me away from, distracts me just enough.
yeah. I didn't know that Bruce Hampton was manic depressive.
Oh wow, me
till,
neither.
till after he passed. When Jeff Mosier told me this, that Bruce was so incredibly externally focused, always giving the attention to who he is with, and like absolutely dialed in, to the point where he knew your birthday by talking to you, all that kind of stuff. And Jeff told me that he did that to manage his own illness
Mm-hmm.
without medication. He was like, this is where my brain is going. He memorized facts. He memorized, a thousand things. He was an encyclopedia, but
Yeah.
he did that to self medicate. And I would have had no idea.
Yeah, man. I mean, everybody kind of has their own sort of coping ways that can help you deal with shit like that if you're going through it. Man, I've been feeling a lot
Yeah,
better lately, though. I mean, I think a lot of my trouble was just road dogging so hard too. Just
yeah.
never home, and now we find ourselves home for long. Shit, I don't. Man, I haven't been home this long in the last 10 years. I know that. You know.
I call it 30 for me.
Wow.
Seriously, I saw one of the dusters wrote, yeah, you take a month off when you have a kid, but other than that,
Right.
yeah, that's been my world, man. And so after 30 years of this, I'm loving the pause.
Oh
I
yeah.
got to tell you, because I didn't, I was going really hard the past couple of years, um, just trying to make ends meet, going through some changes,
Mhm.
um, divorce and all. So I had to work really, really hard, and was really feeling like, man, I need a pause,
Yeah.
and there was just no way to do it, or to take it, or to find a way to do that. And
Yeah, in a real
wow, it arrived in a way I never would have imagined.
I know. Yeah, it's so strange. Where
Yeah,
it's like, for the first couple weeks of this, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, shit, I'll take it, mandated or not, I'll stay home.
oh yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and then you start missing your friends, and you start realizing, I mean, God, just how amazing it is. Right now, I'm thinking about that time in Mexico where we had a talent show, and there was like people were like, you just cleared off the table and was like, okay, talent show. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning. It was just amazing. I mean, I, those moments right now are, I feel so rich just for even having those in my memory, like um,
yeah,
all those, the community, the places we get to travel to and play and be around everybody and hug and love on each other, man,
yeah,
that shit, I will never take it for granted, you know.
yeah,
It's been really a huge wake up call to be forced to stay home and like, okay, hey buddy, what if we took what if we took away your gig? And then what? Are you still happy? Can you
yeah,
still hang out? Can
yeah,
you cope? Can you
yeah.
What I've been doing is working on my cars. I got a couple classic cars. I don't know if you knew that, but I got two Chevelles.
You have the same model that I thought you were showing old pictures of before you redid your one, but you got one of the same kind that you're refurbishing now.
Yeah, I have. One is the green one is a '72, and that one's all It's been restored. It's got really clean paint. It's really nice. It's fucking
Yeah,
it's badass. But I hate to even leave it in a parking lot or drive it in the rain or anything.
right.
I baby it too much. So I had to get a beater, something that I could
Nice,
throw my tools on, and something
nice.
I don't care if I scratch it or put dings in it or whatever. It's got a nice patina on the outside, and but I got a new drivetrain and everything in that, and I've been learning a bunch. Um,
Okay.
Learning a bunch about all that stuff, just how to tune my carburetor and that kind of shit,
Wow.
and it's really fun, man.
Shit, man. Before long, you'll be Del McCurry.
I know, and that's
You'll
the
be
thing.
renting on your own bus.
Him and his boys, especially Rob, I think, man, they're mechanics. Rob's got a Monte Carlo or two, or maybe two of them, and
Oh yeah,
so yeah, occasionally,
nice.
me and Rob kind of chat about that stuff. But man, I'd love to. That is one thing that has been so good for me during this time. Is just to have it's like something different from music. The people that I talk to about car stuff, like they don't even necessarily know that I'm a musician or and
Nice.
it's like a different community of awesome
Yeah.
hot rodders and stuff too. And my brother and I got some friends back up in Michigan that they really uh, work on cars and they race on dirt tracks and shit like that. And
Oh man.
it's badass. So it's man, that's been nice to basically take my mind away from music for a little bit. Although I'm still playing, and I've got my little recording setup going on over here, and I'm starting to get
Nice.
some good tones, and maybe I'll start I don't know recording some stuff. And I've been dicking around on Jack
Yeah.
Pearson's website trying to learn some stuff.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got a
Very
great
cool.
website, man. That's like, he puts all these videos up there, and they're great lessons and stuff, and just you can play along with them, and
Oh,
it's really, really cool. So,
cool. I'll have
yeah,
to
man.
check that out. I've been. I just got a little console in the mail the other day. I'm I have this idea of doing a talk show.
Mhm.
I really want to be on an FM talk show because it bothers me what's available on the radio anymore. It ain't what I want to be hearing. You know,
Yeah, god
and
damn, I would tune in.
especially the talk stuff. Um, so I've been feeling a need to do that for a while. But I think the model that I'm gonna try is start to have a talk show on Facebook live and respond to the comments, have guests calling in. I don't know if you've seen any of the Frasco podcast kind of stuff he's been doing.
Um, I've been like on his podcast, but he's doing a new
Yeah,
thing where it's like a live video thing. Is
yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that'd be great. What console did you get?
It's called a Rode RODE Pro.
Mhm.
It's got like four inputs, like XLR inputs, and then an input for a phone, input for a computer, and a Bluetooth input.
Yeah.
So, you can have people calling in on your phone, on your computer. You can have videos on the computer. You can have all this stuff. So, I can talk for a while. I can play a video. I can pull someone up on the phone on the screen, talk to them.
Oh god.
Do all this kind of stuff. And I'm trying to, I'm when it comes to technology, man, I'm really behind the ball,
I'm
man.
telling you. I'm,
I'm trying to learn logic and
yeah, I'm doing all the same
yeah,
stuff right now. I mean,
there's a lot of stuff to learn, man.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
shit,
I'm starting to
I
figure out.
certainly haven't been bored in this quarantine yet.
Yeah,
You know,
it's just I sometimes I got I'll dick around with this stuff, this technical stuff. Like I've got the same stuff. I'm talking to you on a Zoom thing, and the phone's
okay,
tapped into it, and I got a couple mics, and I've been messing around with Logic as well, trying to just figure it out, and got a little camera thing, and I don't know. I don't really know. I figured out how to get my wireless.
it's gonna be a long time before we can get back to doing what we were doing.
I was thinking about
So
that.
we all got to figure something new, man.
You know, I was thinking about the Martha Stewarts and the Mario Batalis and the Emerald like those kind of dudes that sit in front of a camera and they show you how to cook
Yeah,
something. It's like I will set up my camera and I'll be like, okay, I'm just gonna post a couple songs, right? Man, I'll play that shit 100 times before I even think it's good enough to post, or I was like, oh, I fucked up some lyric. If it's not
yeah,
live, if it's live, I'm good because
yeah. It's
But
not.
if I have like if I'm able to fix something that I mess up, I just can't like
Yeah,
I've done a couple of these pre-recorded things where it's like 4 or 5 songs, and the third song in, I forget the verse or something. I'm like, oh fuck, and well, could we just edit? I'm like, no, let's just start over, you know. So I'm playing these same four songs, you know, 5 times, and God, I hate,
Yeah,
you know, I gotta learn how to be in front of a camera too, because it's so weird. I feel like, you know, if it's not live or something, if I'm filming for
yeah.
myself, you know, I'm looking at a camera, talking to it and stuff, and I just feel like I'm trying to portray myself any certain way, and it just feels awkward as hell.
It's the old dilemma, you know, for mental patients. You
Yeah.
know, if you're checked into to a hospital because they think you might be nuts, you have to start acting like you're sane. Not being sane, but acting like you're sane.
Hmm.
You know, so like, ah!
Oh man,
Yeah.
how is the boy? How's Silas and them, man?
Silas is doing good, man. He's got plenty of work, and his girl is working at an Indian supermarket. She's been studying Ayurvedic medicine, so she's got this doctor that runs the place that's teaching her a million things, and
Hell yeah,
they got me on all kind of Ayurvedic herbs and stuff to keep my immune system up.
that's good.
You know, and Colin is hitting the road. I mean, he's got no gigs either. You know, Colin's a musician also. He's got no gigs, and he's a Canadian citizen, and they're taking care of people pretty good up there. So he's remodeling a bus
Oh wow.
that he's going to live in, and he's going to Canada. He has dual citizenship.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's fun. I mean, the whole working on the bus part. That's like the kind of projects that people are getting done right now, uh,
Yeah,
and admittedly, I've gone to AutoZone a couple times, and I've gone to Home Depot a couple times, and it's been strange
yeah,
how many fucking people are there. And I'm like, oh shit, well, I'm one of them. You know, I just came here to get some
yeah.
shit. But then I got there, I'm like, should I even go inside? But they're, you know, they're taking precautions, keeping people 6 feet away, you know,
Oh, yeah,
from everybody. And have, you know, if you're waiting in line, they got little X's on the ground you can stand on and shit. But it's weird that, to me, that, you know, I guess like the big Home Depot's open, but the little hardware store has to stay closed. That kind of sucks, you know?
yeah. You know, I was trying to find a garden center in town to go get some plants that I've been doing some gardening too, with little space I have, and I really want to get my hands in the dirt. You know, I really appreciate that stuff.
Yeah.
And so I went to Home Depot, and that's the only time I've gone out there. I did a massive grocery shop, you know, like March 11th,
Yeah.
and Silas has been going out and getting me some of the things I need, you know. But I'm still kind of going on that massive shop I did way back. You know, I'm afraid of going out. You
You
know,
guys got a big freezer?
I got a pretty big freezer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm a good cook, so I can you know eat on a roast for a few days,
Hell
that
yeah,
kind of
man.
stuff. So
Allie's been whipping up some good shit around here. I've just been her, you know, lab rat.
yeah.
It's been amazing.
That's so great. You have a quarantine partner.
I'm very lucky,
That's good.
and
Yeah,
very lucky for that. We've been, you know, it's very evident. We're both very grateful to have each other right now.
yeah,
You know, and I'm especially grateful when I taste that baked ziti.
no doubt. Yeah, I'm living alone for the first time since my senior year of college, and I moved into this place a week before the shutdown. So
Oh shit.
I mean, I'm really digging into the self. You
Yeah.
know, I miss everyone but me.
Yeah. No kidding. Well, man,
I'm
it's
gonna have
like
to have a talk with me, man.
some of the best times, you know, I've had at these festivals, and you know, you've kind of. I remember when I first started kind of coming around you guys. The first time I saw y'all, I think we either opened up for you or I was just in Kalamazoo for some reason. I think we maybe opened up the show at Bell's in Kalamazoo, way back when I was
That's
playing with Don
possible.
Julin. But
Yeah,
holy
yeah.
fuck, man! And I was young, even younger then, and really impressionable at the time. I was so eager, and just and I was buzzed up, and I was just raring and tearing, man. And you guys came through, and I remember something that just fucking split my wig open bad was Drew Emmett and his electric slide mandolin, and I was like, he was just ripping this solo on this, electric mandolin with a slide, and I was just looking around at people like, "Are you fucking seeing this?" Like I was like laughing out loud, and man, it was amazing, and around that time, probably a couple years before that was, dude, I was totally unaware of this whole scene for so long. Like I was a bluegrass kid that, I mean, I didn't know about leftover salmon or string cheese incident or green sky or the string dusters.
But you knew about Don Parley and Third Time Out and all that kind of stuff, no? Or
Yeah, I mean, more just like, Jimmy Martin and Flat and Scruggs and
okay,
the older stuff, maybe up to like Osborne Brothers. Like growing up, I didn't even really listen to Tony Rice very much growing up, until later on.
were you going to festivals?
Just every once in a while, the only one that was really up there where I lived was Charlotte Bluegrass Festival. And that's pretty, traditional.
Straight ahead, yeah.
And then there was a little WMBMA, which is like the West Michigan Bluegrass Music Association. They had a little fall fest and maybe a spring fest too, which was just, man, that was the one because I never even made it over to the stage. It was the campground,
Right.
it was
Yeah.
the campers, it was all everybody would, back then everybody pulled up their RVs and stuff, and we would all play until the grass was wet with the dew,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and over the years there was just less and less campers out in that field, man.
Huh.
And I mean
Yeah.
that generation, I mean those old folks that brought them campers, a lot of them, have died, and it's just
Yeah.
like that little festival has just kind of they dwindle. It seems like it was dwindling every year. I wonder if it's even still a thing, but um, so
Well, I think Bean Blossom was in danger of that.
yeah.
In a sense, you know. Um, you got the Uncle Pen Days and Bill's Bluegrass Festival there, but I think those crowds are getting smaller. I mean, the music has to incorporate new things to keep bringing life into it, man. And I sure am grateful for all that you're bringing to it, man. There's what you bring to it is just a guarantee that this genre isn't gonna die through attrition, you know. And
Well,
man, you're doing really great stuff with what you're doing. I'm just so proud of you, man.
well, thanks, man.
Good work.
I appreciate that. And hey,
And you got such an understanding of the roots of it. And so where did the metal phase happen for you?
well, that was like, see, man, when I was a little kid, I played bluegrass, all the way up until I was probably about, 8 or 9 years old. I probably didn't even listen to anything else or give a fuck about anything else. I was watching my dad, listening to Doc Watson records with him and
Yeah,
stuff, and figuring out those
yeah.
tunes. Back then, I was only playing rhythm. Um,
Uh-huh.
we'd play tunes like Beaumont Rag and stuff, and he would be capoed up on the second fret, and I would play him out of an open A chord, the long A and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so,
At 8 years old?
well, yeah, I mean, by the time I was 7, I could hang on to Salt Creek and Beaumont Rag and shit like that. I mean, it was 6. I was
Yeah.
6 when I learned Beaumont Rag, but I was playing rhythm. I learned how to strum, and
Wow.
and I could like do the bass notes and the strum, and It's
Yeah.
pretty cool, man. I'll show you some photos sometimes. Like it's weird. I still hold my pick the same way, and uh, but I was my
Nice.
dad's little sidekick for a while there.
Yeah.
And then as I got older, he would sometimes pull me into the room, like like, hey, you know, my nickname was Boomer when I was growing up. Like, Boomer, get in here. And I remember specifically when he sat me down and showed me who David Grisman was and was like, you need to know this guy, like, and he showed me Doc and Dog. And later on, I was able to introduce my dad to David Grisman, and that was a whole cool,
Nice.
full circle kind of thing. But man, he did the same thing for Black Sabbath when I was like 7 or 8. He finally thought I was old enough to hear the first Black Sabbath record, and he sat me down and fucking played that shit and he scared the hell out of me, dude. Yeah, and so that made a huge impression, and he showed me like a lot of stuff, man. I remember when he showed me Johnny Winter, he showed me King Crimson, he showed me,
Oh man.
a lot of different stuff, and so by that time I was starting to get into electric guitar. My dad, we would watch the Jimi Hendrix Woodstock performance a lot. And that was just fucking blew my mind. And I started getting into Sabbath and Led Zeppelin and Jimi Hendrix. And then when I was like 11 years old, maybe I was like, I was probably 9 or 10 when my dad got me my first little electric guitar, which was a mini Squire Strat and a pig nose amp.
Nice.
Yeah, and that was my little setup until a couple years later, it was like Christmas time when I was 11, and I really wanted a Les Paul. I was looking at the Elderly Instruments magazine, like, Dad, I need this Les Paul. It's like $125, or something. It's like a cheap ass little Epiphone Les Paul, and we didn't have a lot of money back then, and times were weird, but um, so he was like, he flips the page and he's like, what do you think about these? And he shows me Paul Reed Smith guitars. And I was like, wow, I mean, they look nice, but it's awful expensive, and I want a Les Paul. So anyways, a couple days later, my parents were out at a party or something. It was almost Christmas time, and I went in my dad's closet, and I saw this weird rectangle case in there, and I peeked it open, and I saw this PRS guitar sitting in there. So that was,
Wow.
that year for Christmas was when I got the PRS, and my mom and dad got that guitar.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't even know if I should say it because I might put this thing out there. Either way, it's a stolen guitar my mom got from a drug addict for like $150. And it's like probably like a $3,000 guitar or something back then. I mean, it was so long ago, I don't even know. But my mom acquired that guitar from somebody who sold it for dirt cheap for a rock or something. So,
Yeah.
anyways, it's been an amazing
Uh-huh.
guitar. That turned into, Black Sabbath turned into heavier shit. And at that time, man, I had been playing bluegrass for, I mean, did your kids ever go through a phase like, oh, I don't, playing music with dad is like, not that it's lame or something, but it's like,
Uh, yeah. Silas wanted to have nothing to do with bluegrass in his earlier years.
yeah,
It was Godsmack and Green Day, and all that kind of stuff. Man, like bluegrass just wasn't, and I never forced it on him or
right,
anything. It came down. There was a time in Telluride. He'd gone to the festival all the time, and so he'd had it all. It just didn't do anything for him. Yeah. And one year in Telluride, we were we were just coming into town, and just he and I were driving in. And he said, "Dad, I've always been you know, I tell you, I smell you out, but it's weird. Like this time, like coming into town, I'm just feeling like, God, like Sam and Bela, like I've known those people all my life, like coming into this place, it's like these are my people."
yeah,
And I about cried,
yeah,
to know that my kid felt part of something bigger.
Yeah,
You
man.
know, like these are my people. This is, that's when I knew that, all the road traveling is not in vain.
Yeah, no kidding.
That we built community and a feeling of belonging, which it primally is why people play music. So you belong together in a deeper way.
Yeah,
You know, I think.
totally.
You know, hey, we all sitting around trying to eat, pound rocks together. Let's do something that's fun. Let's make some noise. You know, that's the basic impulse you know we're working with here.
Oh, I
You know,
just had a flashback to standing on stage with you in front of a bunch of people at Gray Fox, and you just like looked at me, and you were like, "I want to find something fun to do around here. This isn't any fun." So I like turned around and lit up a joint or something, and you go, "Yeah, exactly." That was
well,
great.
oh, well, Bruce Hampton, my mentor said, "Oh, there's nothing worse than a good band." Oh, oh, how was the band? They were good. Oh, oh. It's like a band that went out there with the intention of being good. Oh,
Yeah.
people want you to vomit on them. That's what he always is. They're not. They didn't come to the show to see perfection.
Yeah, man.
They came to the show to see a human. Yeah,
I don't
attempting to do things.
I don't know what exactly it is that happens at some leftover salmon performances. I've been at a couple leftover salmon performances on acid and had this uh, incredible, I mean, it's kind of what happens when you see live music on psychedelics, but especially you guys have this ability to like really crescendo the show somehow. I mean, and just weird shit is happening. I remember I saw you guys in Nashville on Broadway, and oh my god, dude, oh yeah. Me and Allie took these little gel tabs, and we walked into Ernest Tubb's record shop, and about 20 minutes later, we walked out different people. And and that show was amazing because you guys had first of all, it was like the sun was shining right on us, and then I looked over and there was this skyscraper, and I was like, God, wouldn't it be great if? And then the sun went right behind the skyscraper, and then Drew got on the mic and was like, "Thank you to that skyscraper for blocking the sun," and I was like, "Okay, now they're reading my mind," and then, you know, and you guys had the Bang This twins up on stage dancing with you with the legendary Bang This twins from Broadway, dude. And I was like, this is unreal. And I think it was like up on the hill, I think it was during Boogie or something, and shit was just getting out of hand. Like, it was just, and I was like, kind of almost to this point where I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, they're still playing? Like, what?
Tell me about the Dangus twins, man. What is that about?
Oh, yeah, the Bang This twins.
Bang this.
Yeah, they're two little dudes that they're twins and they're little. I mean, they're little short guys.
Have they been around a while?
I guess. I mean, I googled them after I saw them sitting with you guys, man. Seeing like, yeah. So you gotta Google the Bang This twins, and there's photos. They always wear the matching shirts that say Bang This.
Bang this. BANGTHIS.
Yeah, Bang This, man. And they're beautiful, and they got dance moves like a motherfucker, dude. I mean, from the audience perspective, dude, you guys were, especially if in my head at that time, it was like this great vaudeville performance with like, these amazing dancers and stuff.
Man, New Year's this year, we had uh, God, spacing there. Oh, Mac Sabbath
Oh yeah, man.
play, and it was we played a set. It was Lindsay Lou, Carl Denson. We played a set. Then Mac Sabbath did their thing, and we came out and played again at midnight. Um, so people were, of course, peaking on the psychedelics at about that time. And here comes out Ronald McDonald, Ronald Osborne, and and like just start doing this shit. And people were fleeing, like I can't take it, like comments like who the hell was Ronald, like and the words to the songs, they're all like warnings about GMOs, like food, like
Oh man, that's great.
it was hysterical, man. So I and that's exactly the kind of chaos. What the hell is going on? Kind of thing. I love to introduce into a show because, like Bruce said, man, people just want you to vomit on them. They want to see something that happens that is only about the right here and now. That says we are here,
Yeah,
and
no shit.
no matter how you can, whatever it takes to do that, That's
Yeah,
why I love making up lyrics, about what's going on at the time or something,
right. Because that puts you in, even it even helps you get into more of that mindset and that, there's like almost sometimes the way I picture it is there's already this, nobody ever wrote a song. It was already there. We just kind of grabbed it out of the ether and put it together and regurgitated it into the atmosphere, eh?
Exactly.
And so I think you have this special ability to kind of hone in on those airwaves that are sort of coming and going always, and to be able to sort of tap into them like right now, man. I've seen you do it so many times. It's like at some point during the show, Vince is gonna go into his other little frame of mind where who knows what the fuck is gonna happen, but it's gonna
Yeah.
be right now. It's gonna be, like you said, it's gonna happen right here, right now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it's gonna be. Yeah, that's a really. I really enjoy playing with you for that reason, man. And anytime I've gotten to jam with Leftover Salmon, and all of a sudden we just took a sideways turn into a different song or
Yeah.
something, and it's like, well, fucking dude, that's the way it was going, man. So it's
Oh,
just
I
what
know
happened.
that one too.
Yeah, totally.
uh, I was lucky. I started college studying theater and did a year and a half of improv training that
Where?
basically
Where did you?
basically taught me West Virginia University of
Okay.
Morgantown, West Virginia, and that pretty much taught me how to not care what was going to be coming up next out of my mouth, and how to kind of get rid of the intentions of saying anything in particular. But just trust that it'll come out. Sometimes what comes out will expose you as an absolute freak that you are. It's like a Rorschach test. You're like, oh my god, you just said that. And sometimes when you get into an improv, you can see a rhyme coming that you can't avoid, and it's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's good.
but but it's all about letting go and not caring about the outcome, so you get the best outcome.
Yeah, man.
It's weird. Hold
This
on to let go and all that stuff.
It's a strange thing. I feel like when I was younger, maybe even when I was younger and when I used to drink, I don't know. I used to maybe not think about things so much or worry about what people thought about me or anything. Nowadays, I feel like sometimes when I step up to the mic, it's like I feel like I need to have my shit together and know what I'm about to say. Otherwise, like I think about that kind of stuff and it makes me feel like nowadays. Yeah, I mean, nowadays we're not playing any shows, but at least
Yeah, right.
before we got the rug pulled on us, I was kind of like nervous a lot. Like,
Well,
I don't
I
know.
mean, you were carrying a fucking a big ass torch for this genre, but and I think we've had this conversation before, man. You are so prepped for that role, and your mind is right. Your playing and singing is certainly right, and your consciousness, your sociability, your awareness, your love, man. It's all there, man. You're the guy that carried the torch,
Yeah.
and you're doing a great job of it. And man, you got to be feeling it, man. I mean, you were just taking off like a fucking rocket ship, you
Yeah, I
know.
guess so. And a lot of like sometimes maybe that just comes from being on the road and getting tired and stuff too. But for a while there, I started feeling sort of antisocial, which is funny enough now that in
Uh
the
huh.
situation that we're in, like
Yeah.
where I wouldn't go out to, like I most definitely am just going back to the hotel after the gig, and a lot of times that's just because I need sleep and I'm tired. But
Yeah.
there were times where maybe I don't know, like I wouldn't go out, I wouldn't accept the invite to go out and hang with people, even though
Yeah.
maybe I really thought that would be fun, or there was a certain part of me that's like I just don't want to be around a bunch of people right now, and
Yeah.
that
I
started to
have
feel weird.
a withdrawal tendency on the road once I get tired, and I hide, and
Yeah.
it is something to watch out for. Um, it was Jeff Austin's birthday yesterday, and
Uh,
Jeff hid a lot. It got to the point where socializing was just too hard for him because people wanted him to be that Jeff Austin guy. And playing the role of Jeff Austin was too much for him, and you so yeah, you're gonna be out there playing the role of Billy Strings, and that can be hard sometimes in a crowd where you just want to hang out and sit quietly in the corner and pick or something,
that's why I'm
that
just.
can become harder. But you got the tools for this, man,
I think
more than anybody I can imagine.
one of the things I've learned along the way is that is very important is to just make sure that that person is myself. That way, I'm never like
Exactly.
trying to. I
Exactly.
don't have to play a role, man. I just am. I am who I am, and I don't have. I don't fucking owe anybody anything or anything. I just play, and
Yep.
it's not like that. I mean, the people are so kind, and like all the folks that come out to our
Hmm.
shows, and I love those folks. So I want to spend time with them and get to know them on a personal level and stuff like that, and become actual friends with them. A lot of them I
Yeah.
have, like there's this big group of folks that comes out and just, I mean, the whole community, man.
And
It's just like
it's what makes the richness of doing this. You know, is, there are those social interactions. For me, definitely. I'm a social animal, and this is really weird times because of that. But yeah, the social thing is what kept me doing it for 30 years. Um,
totally.
that's because if it was just that hour and a half on stage or 3.5 hours on stage, whatever it was, yeah, then it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
I guess if it was absolute hell the rest of the time.
I think
Um,
at one point, I was in, completely consumed with just the music, the touring, the being on stage, the being Billy Strings thing. And nowadays I'm like working on my cars and fucking around with other stuff, and I'm like,
yeah,
kind of like messing around with my skateboard again, and kind of just doing some other shit. And it's like, man, uh, T. Michael Coleman. I don't know. Maybe it was quite a few months back, maybe about a year ago or something. Back when I was kind of dealing with some anxiety a lot. Maybe he saw something that I posted, but T. Michael Coleman's Doc Watson's longtime
oh yeah,
bass
oh yeah,
player, and
absolutely.
um, he sent me a message and he was like, "Man, I just wanted to share this thing with you that Doc told me." He's like, Doc told me to, you know, music is not all that you are. It's a way to put food on the table, and it's a way of life, and it's everything, but it's not everything, you know. And sometimes when I get on stage and I just feel like this has to
Wow.
absolutely be the best performance ever, this has to
Wow.
be the best, and it's like, well, or say like I'm on stage and a technical difficulty happens and I get all sour about it. It's like, dude, big deal. Like when in the grand scheme
Yeah.
of things, we all just came here to play some fucking music, man, and it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you don't have to get
Yeah.
upset because your cable stopped working or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Think about a mountain biker getting upset because like, dude, you're riding your bike. Want to go ride bikes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hey, you want to go play guitar? Yeah, sure. Same thing.
Yeah. Well, I remember, growing up skateboarding, that's part of skateboarding, man, getting pissed. Like,
Oh yeah.
motherfucker, I can't, or I can't land this trick, or god damn it. Until you
Yeah.
just focus your board and just snap it in half. But, so yeah, that's not the energy that I want to bring into music. The energy that I want to bring into music is every single fucking thing that Yoda has ever said. Like, if you think about what Yoda talks about and the way that he talks, and then think about incorporating that to how you like believe in music and shit, it's just like it.
I
But
have a problem with that today because of the conversation I had earlier, man.
all right,
The Yoda's thing is there is no try, there is only do.
yeah,
Well, during the quarantine, there is only think. There is no do.
right. There is no fucking do at all.
There is no do.
But I guess like what I'm really yeah, I can't do anything. What I'm really talking about is Yoda's the whole not letting anger even into the picture at all. You know,
Ah,
if you're on stage and okay, you're for some reason the groove's not working. You're what the fuck? Is it the drummer? Is it the bass? What's
yeah,
going on?
yeah,
You know, and if you get irritated about that because you haven't slept in days and you've been on 3 airplanes today and
right,
all that
right,
shit, that's not how to be a Jedi on stage, bro. You gotta
yeah.
be like, okay, well, this is happening, but it's like water, and so I can move with it and
And
flow
the
with it.
other players, I'm sure they'd prefer to be in the groove.
Yeah,
You know, they're not willfully doing it.
yeah. It's just like for a while there, and being a band leader too. I felt that like
Yeah,
almost like I was trying to like control people of how I thought it should feel or sound, and that's just not gonna
yeah,
happen, man. Like people play music and everybody learns their own way. That's been a cool thing learning like in Nashville, like working on sessions and stuff like, those Bela sessions that I was a part of. Some people just hear it, some people got to count it and stuff, and everybody learns differently. Like, um,
yeah.
I mean, I remember one thing. Me and Sam were just on it, and it was this weird kind of groove thing. And Edgar Meyer was just like, he just kept kind of doing something, and he kept counting it out. And him and Bela were like counting out all, and me and Sam were just going, dude, what? Just play it like this, man. It's just this. But once they came up with what they were trying to work out, it was like the best absolute possible solution to the groove. But it's just like,
Yeah, yeah. And we did a session with Baylor recording when he came back in and said, "Well, you good with that?" He said, "How far you want to go?" you know, I, I, I'm really thankful that I don't have a mind like Bayless or an ear like Bayless. I mean, when he makes his records, he lines up, you know, those cats.
yeah,
I mean, wow. I mean, um, um, I'm quite accepting of slop, I guess.
yeah,
whether that's a positive thing, I just don't hear in those kind of nanoseconds,
Right.
of things, and I thank God that kind of stuff doesn't bother
Yeah,
me,
man, and everybody's got their own thing, and just kind
Yeah.
of owning whatever's yours is the main deal, which is I love that, and so I
And
don't know.
that was Bruce Hampton's main lesson. He always, he gave you permission to be exactly yourself,
Yeah.
in the music, and not to, you know, of course, you strive because that's what art is. Art is an attempt at perfection,
Right.
but God, you don't get upset along the way for what happens on the path to it.
Yeah.
Bruce had an aquarium rescue unit practice one time where they all met at this place and got in Sipe's car, and Bruce drove them to a set of stairs. They got out of the car, and Bruce said, "All right, we're gonna walk up and down the stairs, no eye contact, walk with intention." And they walked up and down the stairs a couple of times, got back in the car, and that was the end of the practice.
Oh man, it's so great. I have you heard the one about having Jimmy Herring play Bandhouse? Has Jimmy Herring
No,
ever told you that? I,
band's house.
yeah, when I sat in with Widespread at the Ryman afterwards, I hung around and they were telling some stories and it was just great. But apparently, uh, you know, Jimmy Herring was just hanging there playing and Bruce says, they were in some house in like Nantucket or something, and they had like an Airbnb kind of situation, and they were all staying in the same house.
Uh-huh.
And so Herring was just jamming, and Bruce was like, "Play Nantucket," and Herring's like, "What?" And he's like, "Play Nantucket," and then he starts playing something that maybe reminds him of Nantucket. Bruce is like, "No, no, 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 play Bandhouse." And so
Way more specific.
so so he's like, what, he starts playing something. He's like, no, play Bandhouse. And he like takes his fingers and is spelling BANDHOUSE on his fretboard. Play Bandhouse. And then he's like, "Oh, okay. So you make the letter B on your fretboard, then make the letter A, then make the letter N." And by this time, Jeff Sipe was in tears and said it was the most beautiful thing he'd ever heard. Yeah. Oh,
It got rid of everything that Jimmy knew in one instance. Spell. Okay.
yeah. Spell Bandhouse on your fretboard and play that. And how's it sound? Apparently, Jeff Sipe thought it was beautiful because he was like crying about it. Oh man, good shit. So yeah, that's what I miss is being around and being able to hear those kind of stories and shit. And man, being at
Yeah.
shows like awesome leftover salmon shows and having great times with friends. And man,
Yeah.
I think when this shit's all over, man, I can't wait to be around people again. And I'm like I'm not gonna take anything for granted. That's for sure. We're so fucking lucky to be able to do what we do, and we got so many amazing people around us. And
Yeah.
it's man, I don't know. I love you, buddy. It's great to talk to you, and fucking miss seeing you.
Same to you, but and we'll get there soon enough, man. Don't do anything too early.
No,
You know.
I'm just beginning to start to feel like I did now earlier.
Yeah. Always wait for the note that needs to be played.
Oh
It
man.
might be a long rest stop.
Well, hey man, finish that. When you finish that painting, send me a photo of it, and take
All
care
right.
of yourself. I love you, buddy. Thanks for
You too,
chatting,
bud.
man.
All right, man. Don't bust your knuckles on them wrenches.
Nah, I got him.
All right, buddy. Thanks for calling, man.
All right, man.
Take care.
Bye.
Love you, man.
Love you too.
Peace.
Well, there you have it, folks. The very first episode of On the Line with Billy Strings is in the can. I'd like to thank this week's special guest, Vince Herman. Sure do hope you enjoyed his conversation, stories, and wisdom as much as we did. We look forward to seeing Vince out there again real soon. Tune in next time when Billy will be calling our good buddy Larry Keel. Larry's got tons and tons of stories that we're looking forward to hearing him tell, and a couple of jokes I'd imagine slip themselves in there too. For now, take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you real soon. Bye now.
It's a cure for the bleeding.